Yeah, you need to be specific. So I'm Consolata Karuri. Who am I? I think that's a question I can answer. And as I answer this question, you need to be asking yourself, how do you answer? Tell me about yourself. Right now I work in HR. So most of you may wonder, how did a person who was dealing with crime decide to work with people? So I finished campus, sikupata job. And the internships I was applying, I thought the only place I would work as a criminologist was in armed forces or police, as a special forces, as a special person or something like that. But unfortunately, that did not happen. Why? I'm a short person as well. I don't qualify for height, right? So I can tell you there's a day I went for a military recruitment back in my rural home. Nasi kitambo, this is 2020 I'm speaking about. And I ran. I totally ran. Na nikakuwa number 2. Nilikuwa nimepiga fitness that time properly. I was doing, I was running every morning to be very, very equipped to get to cadets, because that's what I always wanted to do. So that time they were looking for a provost officer, so you had to have a degree in criminology, and so I thought I have the best shot. Shock on me, county yetu, they needed an engineer. So apparently for the cadets, they do a degree for every county. So for my county, they needed an engineer. Unfortunately for Kajiado County, they wanted a criminologist. And my best friend got the job. She's now in the Navy. I never gave up. This time I never ran. So the police force was picking also like a special part, not see how I'm a karawa kunje. They were picking specialists. So I thought, let me try. That was a month after trying cadet. Kufika, they even disqualified women before we'd even go to the field. And nimetoka Nairobi, so I just came back. So that time I was working at Rada Security. Rada Security is a security firm. So I thought, let me just continue working here as I've been working. So let's go back kiasi. So I joined Rada in 2019 as an intern in operations, because I thought operations is a bit related with criminology, and I would help them in doing like some, admin stuff, and it was a learning curve for me. So in the process, a HR person resigned, and they wanted someone to assist, because they had a headcount of 400 people with only one human resource person. So I was like, you know what, let me take it, let's see what's on the other side. I remember I started my job with 25,000. I remember very well, this is back in 2019. So I just took it, sikuwa na option, but I was a young person, I was just exploring anyway. So I worked in Rada, and that's when the military thing and the police thing came on. I was still working there. So I was so disappointed with my life. I thought now my career is shut down. Whatever I learned in school, I've just wasted my 4 years learning criminology for no reason. So I just accepted the fate. It was really hard, but I just decided I'm closing the criminology door completely. Wacha tu ni assume I was there for analytical skills, critical thinking. It helped open my mind more than I thought. And most social sciences, if you've done a social science, that's the thing, that's what it does for you. The theory is not in vain. So my employer was a very good employer, and I really thank God for that, because he saw potential in me and decided, Consolata, I'm gonna sponsor you for your postgraduate diploma in HR. And I was so happy at that point of my life. So I took the leap of faith and decided, hii criminology yangu na matheory zangu, wacha niweke kando. Let me go to a HR space thinking open-minded. And I took the course. and I did my NEC exams, and I completed. And by God's grace, by the time I was finishing the NEC course, I got my job at Rome Electric now. So I've been at Rome for 18 months now. And it's been so when I was in RADA, that was like a learning curve. That was me identifying myself, figuring it out, knowing, will I make it? I stayed in Rome in RADA for 3 years and 2 months. That was a very long period. But then when I came to Rome, which happens to be a multinational organization as well, things became real. And I took the job, and I can tell you I've grown for the last 18 months in a way I can't even explain myself. That was a story. To help you relate, when you're making career shifts or are going through that, you said you studied, and now you're working at Vivo as a project manager, right? Even more. Now you can see. Most people are going through that situation. So it's a matter of identifying yourself, identifying what you really need. Good introduction, right? Okay, so when I saw this topic, I decided to picture the group here, and most of you are employed. Most of you are still going through the phase of identifying yourself. Most of you have already figured it out. All right, 20% figured out, you're still figuring it out. And most of you are entrepreneurs, people like Felista, people like Michelle, you do what you're passionate about, and that's a good thing as well. Some are employers here. I'm not sure, I don't see Esther here, but some are employers as well. So I want to pose a question to you guys. Why do you work? Why do you go to work daily? Money. Someone else? Make money. Christine, you have an answer. Or why do you do what you love to do? Being a freelancer and someone who does whatever she's passionate about. Why do you do it? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Good. Fulfillment? Yes. So most of you, I don't know when you walisoma campus, when you walisoma nje dirisha, you have interacted with the Abraham Maslow theory, right? At some point. And you know the hierarchy of needs. So, by the end of the day, you don't wake up for no reason, right? Either you're going for an income. Some of you at this particular stage of life, your careers have really grown, your income is already sufficient for you, you're looking to move to the next hierarchy, all right? Good question. Achieving whatever you're doing. Some want some love and belonging. You remember the whole hierarchy. Wengine washafika self-actualization, by the way. You see those people who love corner offices, but it's not within this group. Those are majorly they call them baby boomers, people around 40 going upwards, all right? Because we have different categories of people depending on your ages in the employment sector. We have Gen Zs. I really love working with Generation Z. I love them because, yeah, I really love them. They're the most focused people in the world, and they know what they want. Yeah, and they don't take, nonsense. It's if it's not working, it's not working. Yes. Some of them, most of them. Okay, so I want you to measure just a thought, where are you in the hierarchy? What are you really looking for right now? So all of you said money, but maybe money is already making you achieve your basic needs. So literally, you're not living hand to mouth. So I don't think any of you, maybe, or 80% of you are not even on the physiological needs. You have moved to the next. It's that you don't know you're on the next level. So measure where you are. Identify what career path or career goal you have. By then, most of you just wake up, go to work. You don't have a purpose. You just, a day at a time, a day at a time. But what is your career growth? What are you looking to do? What are you looking to do? So, exactly. So just do a reflection and know, where do I want to be in the next, 2 years? Good? So now, we are in the hierarchy. And we might need to move jobs depending on where we are in the hierarchy and what we want to fulfill as we move. I hope everyone is conversant with that triangle I'm talking about. Kaleka Abraham Maslow. So, okay, so the hierarchy has 5 things, 5 needs that you need, or 5 needs that a human being would love to do or would have to, anataka zikuwe fulfilled. So we start with physiological needs. Those are food, shelter, clothing, just what you need as a basic human being, shelter and stuff like that. So we have safety and security. We have health, employment, property, family, and sociability. And employment, most of you work hapo, right? And then we have health as well. Health is priority. Love and belonging, friendships, you just want to feel, there's a family or you have intimate relationships with people. They may be friends, maybe spouses, maybe anything. Then we have self-esteem, the confidence, achievements, respect for others, and stuff like that. And then you have self-actualization. You have reached the point you want in your life. You have achieved whatever you have always wanted. And it's so unfortunate. Self-actualization is not something you say, I have achieved. It's always something ongoing. Unless you don't live by a purpose. Good? Now you relate to whatever I'm saying. Sawa. So as you move within the hierarchy and as you identify the needs you want to satisfy at that particular point of your life, you will require to move jobs. At some point in your life, all of you are contented with whatever you work or whatever you do. Even though you're self-employed, there's something you want to do more and greater, right? So I will start from, most of these will be more inclined to those people who are employed, unfortunately, but I try and also encompass people who are doing businesses and stuff they like. Sawa? So you may think about moving a job because you're stagnating. How are you stagnating? Promotions come, you're not considered. Umekaa hivi kidogo, umeletwa mdosi mpya. And unfortunately, you have to train them to do their jobs because they don't understand the organization, right? And you're the most handy person in that department, so they depend on you to train this person. And I'm talking about real life situations, by the way. This is happening. So we have situations where your skills are not growing. You're still doing the same thing routine-wise. You don't think, I'll give you a good example. HR is moving from the aspect of being so hiring, firing. Right now, we call people human capital. We're moving to a more people-oriented approach, all right? So a lot of things are also moving to be more technical as well in terms of tools of use in terms of HR. Sai tulitoka huko kwa files, kutumia blah, blah, blah. We don't do that anymore. So my skills maybe in a previous organization, I was used to be the paperwork person. Then you work in a tech-savvy organization whereby you need to be really technical in Excel, technical in terms of using systems, technical in terms of using... Umezoea kuandika to-do list. Unapata watu wanatumia ticketing. They use tickets to track the progress of your work. So in terms of that, unaona, this organization is not giving me that, right? I'm not growing in a way the market will need someone like me in case I need to apply for a job, right? Okay? Yeah. Na kama mnajiita mkutano of stagnation. So, you're not taking more leadership roles. So zikikuja, you even don't feel equipped enough. We mwenyewe, unajisikia I'm not equipped enough for this. And I think most of you have found themselves in such a situation. So, who here only waits for performance assessments to happen to review themselves? Like you only wait for the performance cycle, manager akuja kuambia you're not doing this 1, 2, 3. Literally all of you. You only wait for a performance assessment to be done, right? How do you track your performance as a person? How do you measure if I'm growing? Quarter 1 ikianza, how was I? Quarter 2 ikiisha, what have I done for myself as a person? My manager not evaluating it, but me myself. So that's the culture I want you guys to uphold or something. Like, I'm measuring my performance. I don't need someone to come and tell me you're not doing 1, 2, 3. I don't need someone to come and tell me this is your growing path or this is the development plan you can do for yourself. I can manage to identify that by myself. All right? So I want you guys to be your own, I even don't know how to call it. Just be proactive in whatever you're doing. Don't wait for things to be done for you. Performance conversations are very difficult. So if you're not equipped enough to go to those performance conversations, then unaenda kuambia mdosi wako nini? Unajua nakulizanga, anything you want to talk about? Salary. Nothing else. True. What are the challenges you have been facing? You even don't know. What support do you need from me? You don't know. You're feeling attacked? Okay, so stagnation is one thing that may require you to move jobs, all right? Number 2, if your financial needs are not being met. So most of you, maybe you are really earning low, and when you look at the scope you're doing as well, it's too much, and you feel it's not worth it. Number 2, naangalia bills zako. The math is not mathing. Ukitisha salary increments, no one is listening to you. And unfortunately, right now, the recession happening worldwide, it's affecting companies. Companies are closing down, right? Yeah. So you may request for a salary increment and you might never get it. Ama hutaipata this year. So it's time you start looking for jobs to meet your financial needs. So that's another reason you might require to move jobs. Number 3, more responsibilities, personal, that may require you to get some work-life balance. And that's where the work-life integration comes in, as long as you go by being an employee. So what do I mean by some work-life balance and more responsibilities? Assuming, mimi nikijisample hivi kama Conso naona, it's time I become a mom. All right? So, what will I do? As I apply for jobs, I'm going to look for jobs that are more hybrid, jobs that have more better maternity policies, all right? Jobs that will allow me, the employers who give parental leave, like my employer gives parental leave for kids between 0 to 5. My employer gives 6 months maternity leave. I don't know why, but they do that. No. My employer gives 30 days paternity for men. My employer doesn't give 21 days of leave. They add as you move on, a day extra. That, exactly, but the law gives 14. So they are going above and beyond. They're being so generous with their leave policies, all right? So that's what I'm speaking about. As you look for jobs, I think most of us focus on the money. We don't focus on how we need to balance our lives. What is this employer giving me that will make me a mom, that will make me do a better job as a sister, as a brother, as a waridi dada, official, as some as I am coordinator? Like, is my job allowing me to do that? Next time you want to be late because you'll have, it's rhetorical. Just, you got late, so maybe you don't have a work-life balance, right? I'm not attacking you, I'm just giving you as an example. Why do you need also to move jobs? And I love people who are confident enough to call bullshit as it is. Toxic work environments. I love people who are confident enough to be vocal enough and say, I can't take this anymore because it's not in line with whatever I believe in as a person or what I want as a person. So what do I mean by this? I know all of you know corporate politics. Kutimbana, that will never end, unfortunately. It's you knowing up to what level I'm accommodating this corporate politics. And if you can't take it anymore, you can always submit a resignation and leave. Do what is best for you as a person. Don't compromise, by the way. Now, that's the catch. You can't also leave a job if you haven't figured out what's next for you. So it's like I'm applying for this job because I know I can't tolerate this politics anymore. So what's best for me, all right? Some even take lower paying jobs for the sake of their peace of mind. Maybe I'm earning 100K right now, and it's not worth me being in that organization. I would rather look for a job that gives me 50K that gives me peace of mind. I know it's hard, but sometimes, trust you me, you might be forced to make that call. Yeah. I see people nodding their heads. It's like, what's happening? There's a therapist in our midst, guys. Don't have to worry about it. Okay, you have a toxic manager. There are those toxic managers. They're always gaslighting you, throwing you under the bus. She never did it. Yet, maybe niya hakukupea approval. There are those managers who won't put a good word for you during salary increments. They'll just leave you out and recommend the rest of the team. And maybe niwe huwa unafanya the heavy lifting for that team. You're always doing everything. All right? We call them favorites. Unfortunately, you don't have to stoop low to be someone's favorite. All right? So if it's time to leave. Good? There are also there are those companies who change everything overnight. Like unaamka, policy zote zimebadilika. Venye uliacha vitu jana, that's not how things are today. So that's a toxic environment because it means, why are they changing this? They're changing this to suit themselves, not the needs of the employees. Okay? I hope mna relate na whatever I'm saying. Hapa ndipo Generation Z huni bamba. Your skills are underutilized or undervalued. So our company, okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to use it as an example a lot, so please understand. So our major scope is engineering. So we take interns from Jomo Kenyatta University, and they come have a training program, and we absorb them as junior engineers. And most of them may feel, I'm an electrical or I'm a mechatronics engineer, but maybe this is not what I expected to venture in. And they're like, Consolata, I'm done with my 6 months. Thank you for absorbing me and giving me this chance, but I just got an opportunity abroad. I'm giving you a real life example, by the way. And this lady was only 25. So she told me my skills are being underutilized for various reasons, and I feel I can do better in robotics. So it's just knowing, measuring. Whatever I'm doing, is it what I really want? Is it in line with whatever I really want as a person? All right? Are my skills, whatever I've learned in school, is it being utilized to the best? Am I being valued in this team? So it's identifying those things and know when to leave, because I'm being undervalued. I'm being underutilized. And I feel I can do more. If they give me an opportunity, I can push further, right? So the next example I'm going to give you, I know we have lawyers in the building, but it's a bit legal in some way, but people don't know whether it's happening. So I'll term this thing as constructive dismissal. What is constructive dismissal? We have these situations, you have a manager, things just start happening. Anaanza tu kukuffrustrate. You're not being assigned duties. Where kazi yako ukienda kwa ofisi you're an idler. Things are just happening. Your colleagues have work to do, but wewe umekaa tu kwa ofisi, 5 ikifika, you go home. All right? So, kwa meetings zenye unafaa kwa critical, you're not being brought in. Ama unadelete hadi kwa calendar invites. Yani umetolewa. And these are meetings where you're very, very key and maybe in a concern your department. And then unapata hamna representative for department yako in those meetings. Do you know these people are telling you it's time to go? But they don't want liabilities. So they frustrate you for you to resign voluntarily. All right? So it's so unfortunate that most of you don't know these things. Ama unaletwa tu manager mpya, kazi yako yote inachukuliwa na wasi. So what are you left doing? Unaenda tu ofisi kung'ethia, by the way. So you have a question? Okay. So it's time you realize, be cognizant of whatever is happening around you. Usikae tu hivyo tu like, wamechukua kazi yangu, the better for me. You know, some of you will be so happy. Like when you relieve a lot of things, thank you. But you don't know it's a strategy. It's a strategy. Good? Sawa. So I want you to, I'll give you a few questions that you should ask yourself so that you know whether you're in the right job. You umeshika tu. Umeshika constructive dismissal. Okay, so are you fulfilled by your job right now? That's the first question that you need to ask yourself. Is the fulfillment there? Some of you are already thinking it's loud. Thank you for thinking. Are you happy with the company culture? What I mean by company culture is the values the organization lives by, all right? Values of respect. If you work in a manufacturing company, is safety really priority? Is trust there? Like the mindset of taking ownership, and you trust these people, they are going to deliver. All right? That's what we mean by company culture. Is there like the work-life balance that you're supposed, that's the next thing that we're going to talk about. Is it there? Then, are your skills challenged on a daily basis? Are your skills challenged on a daily basis? That's why we come back to the stagnation point. Stagnate in terms of skills, right? Yeah. I love IT people. They're always, their skills are always challenged every day, especially if they're working for fast-paced organizations. So, is there a possibility to change your position? Is there a possibility to change the position you're working under whatever you do? If not, it means there's no development plan for you. It means there's no promotion plan for you. So then, itabidi uanze kusaka job, honestly speaking. If you can't picture your role developing in any way, you need just to leave. Sawa? Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. So, is the environment toxic? Toxic. I've given examples of toxic, but these may vary depending on the organizations you work in. You can be able to know what toxic looks like, right? So if it's toxic, can that be changed? No. Can that be changed? Yes. So if the answer is no, then you leave. If the answer is yes, how is the organization ready to change that type of toxic environment? What is in the works? Sawa. Good? Yes. Are we progressing well? Good. So now, we have discussed about needs. We have discussed about changing jobs. So, tuna apply. So how do we now ensure that we get those jobs? So now let's go to job applications and interviewing, which is, I think, the most interesting thing that we'll discuss today. So most of you are frustrated. I don't know if you have gotten regrets this year. May apply jobs, you're just getting regrets. We are sorry. Kwanza zinakuanga system-based, by the way. Like rejection zinakuanga tu, zinatumangwa tu. So the systems are able to sieve that and just send that to you. I'm so sorry. We are not bad people. We can't hire all of you, right? Yeah, so, so most of you are conversant with ATS, an applicant tracking system, all right? So right now, CVs are no longer manual. We don't drop things in the offices. We apply through career websites, right? So what you guys don't know is that is attached or linked to the ATS of the company. So recruiter akiingia hiyo kitu ana save 2 CVs with keywords. So let me go back what I mean. So as you create your CV, job imeadvertisiwa, right? So unapata mention keywords: talent acquisition, performance management, onboarding, payroll, benefit administration. I'm just giving you an example of a HR job that has been advertised, right? Those are the keywords. So in my CV, I'll ensure those are my keywords as well. So that ATS ikifilter, my keywords are popping. And there's a likelihood my CV will go through. It'll move to the next stage. Shida yenu ni moja. Aki, I'm so sorry, but mkona CV moja ya kila kitu. Ukiambiwa utume CV moja tu unatumanga. Hata ujaangalie JD, ushatuma. So tailor your CV to match the keywords of that job. You don't have to think, by the way. AI iko, ChatGPT ingia hapo, itakutengenezea CV. Ukipost your job description hapo. But also don't depend on AI as much. Ukiito interview, you can't even describe your own CV. Your CV is a story. It's a story about yourself. Okay? Ni ile una describe recruiter day to day yako in a way that she understands. Don't make it complex. Make it so simple for her. All right? Yeah. I know those questions will come up and we'll tackle them. So use keywords, all right? Also keep your CV well organized. Most of you write paragraphs. Aki hawa si hawana time. They are going through so many CVs at a shortlist 2-3 people, by the way. Fields like accounting, unfortunately, are disadvantaged because you have a lot of applicants, like 1,000. Imagine you only need 3 people kupeleka kwa hiring manager. Hiring manager akona time ya kuangalia 3 CVs, interview, done. We even don't shortlist 4 or 10. By them, it's always a maximum of 3. The best 3. That's what I'll table to the hiring manager. Good? So, let me tell you a good thing about your CV being shortlisted is that you know it's marketable for you. So, ukiona umepata tu a first interview, but you should be very, very happy about yourself. You should tap yourself at the back like, I got an interview. So now, the good thing is, the minute you get a first call for an interview, but there wasn't a flow too. You always find yourself doing interviews throughout the year. Now the second stage is to master now, how do I answer questions so that I can get an offer? Because people unaweza fanya interviews 20, unashanga, wait, what is wrong? I think something is wrong with me. It's either you're not meeting the recruiter, as the recruiter interviews you, unajibu tu vitu zako, or you're just there. Interviews are conversations by the see interrogation. See, mumefanya makosa unajibu kenya na kuuliza. No. You have an upper hand in an interview. Always mjibu swali yenye ita prompt aulize swali in line with whatever you answered. Don't make the interview about them. Make the interview about you. It's a conversation, right? They are knowing you. By the way, huko hapo wajue. So they took their time to know you. So make it about you. Good? Yep. So now, kuna shida moja. I love social media, but you guys put a lot of energy on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You forget the one app you need the most, LinkedIn. Patrick is not here, but Patrick is a good example of someone who is really active on LinkedIn, and I love that. Patrick has 6,000 followers on LinkedIn. And he's not a recruiter. He's an engineer. I know most of you have 400, 200. I'm not here to make you feel bad about yourself. I'm here to challenge you. Your LinkedIn is a CV that is public. Anyone can access it. All right? So unaona ile CV unakuanga umejifichia tini yako. That should reflect on your LinkedIn. Your CV should match. A public CV, let me tell you, recruiters use LinkedIn Recruiter. and they are able to get candidates through their search engine. Akisearch tu hapo finance controller, they get the top people who are recognized by LinkedIn as the finance controllers. All right? So uko hapo, umeandika one sentence about me. Ukikuja ni kwa skills, umeandika graphic designing, done. So who is this graphic designer? What do they do? What skills do they have? What are they best at? What achievements have they done or have they made? So guys, ensure your LinkedIn is good. Follow people. Have a good connect. Unavyo unafurahianga ukipata followers wengi TikTok? Me, I'm proud of myself when I get another follower on LinkedIn. And that should be your mentality, especially if you're searching for jobs. How many do you have? Just ask yourself that question. All right? Most of you, even by the hamna LinkedIn. Maybe, yep. So, have an engaging LinkedIn. That's the number one thing. I've gotten headhunts through LinkedIn. I never apply for jobs most of the time. Mtu ana search to a HR coordinator maybe in an e-mobility company. Atakupata very, very easily. You might not get to interviewing, but your LinkedIn is being recognized. It means it's speaking outside there. It's marketing you outside there. All right? So you must have an engaging headline. Your experience section, be as detailed as possible as per your CV. Be very brief. Yani nataka tu copy and paste kindly. Copy and paste. Right? Are we understanding each other? Just copy and paste whatever is in your CV to your LinkedIn. And that's why umepata watu there's so many consultants doing LinkedIn revamps, CV revamps. It's a business because most of you don't know what to do with it. So mtu anaona, I've seen a gap here that I can help people. Okay? So, saa create LinkedIn, but tuko to engage in industry conversations. Ukipata job imepostiwa, I think I tag you most of the time at Ntoribi, at who, all right? So engage in those conversations. That makes you more visible outside there. Ukipata kuna kipost kirefu na una feel, by then kuna comment hapa. Venye tu huwa mna comment Twitter, comment hapo. Okay? And regularly update your LinkedIns. Zingine za somanga, Wanjiru has not posted in a while. By the way, that's what they read. No, you're just an example. No. So post content, repost content about your companies as well, especially if you love the company you work for. Repost whatever they are reposting. Come on, post job, repost it. That's how you get, traffic in your LinkedIn. Sawa? Yes. So keep your profile up to date as well. If you have latest accomplishments, I don't know whether there are people who follow me. You follow me on LinkedIn. Post recent accomplishment. It shows like you're growing in your role. Kama umepata promotion, eka hapo. You're marketing yourself. You don't know who is seeing your LinkedIn, by the way. You really don't know. Yeah. And I have a good friend who has gotten so many headhunts through LinkedIn. She just got another job right now, a very big role, and she never applied. The company just looked for her on LinkedIn. Hi, would love to engage with you. You have the upper hand, especially if you're headhunted. Sawa. Si mimi mmentafuta, so terms ni zangu. Nikitaka kukuja June, mtagoja. Nikitaka fuel card, mtanipea. Nikitaka 500K, you will give me because I was not looking for a job. Right? Yes. So that's why I'm very specific about LinkedIn. Mtu hata ku-headhunt, like mtu hata kutafuta na CV yako iko, kwa tu kwa kafolder kwa laptop yako ama simu. Good? Sawa. You can follow each other. You don't have to. Jeremy, unaweza follow watu huku. Wengine hata mjuu, you don't follow each other on LinkedIn here. Just follow each other. It doesn't hurt. Yeah. So now we go to, tumepita through the recruitment process. You have been interviewed for a role. You have answered their questions properly. And then either upate regret or upate you were successful. So it's always both ways. So now, tumefika pale, we are negotiating an offer. Now it's time to discuss money, it's time to discuss benefits, it's time to discuss blah, blah, blah. By the way, mnajikaranga. I'll be so honest with you. How much are you earning? 50,000. Trust me, kama budget hiyo role ilikuwa ngiri 150, utapewa 70. It's not, you're not obligated to disclose your salary, right? See, that's personal information to you. So I want to give you tips of how you need to negotiate a good offer. So, umeenda interview akakuuliza, so what are you on right now? Pose the question back. What is your budget? Because first of all, mkicreate role, you guys thought about it. Mkadecide mtailipa 150K. So you just want to know how much I'm earning so that you can shortchange me, which is mostly the case. Trust you me. Wapeleke hivi. Me actually I prefer a person who's just taking me like this. I will end up disclosing whatever the offer is. Just be as rigid as possible when it comes to discussing money. So, I want you guys to stop working with fixed figures. So if you're asked, how much are you expecting? Give a range. Give 150 to 200K. Don't give a fixed figure. Usisema 150. What does that mean? They won't work with the minimum. They might not work with the maximum. They'll work with the medium. They might offer you 180. Trust me, hata kama ulikuwa unataka 150 for that role, you'll be happy to get an offer of 180. So work with ranges. Good? That's priority. Like, don't forget. Hata ukisahau kenye kioto nimeongea, maybe you're not concentrating. Just remember, work with the range. Sawa sawa? And what do I mean by a range? So the government is not, unfortunately, my fellow taxpayers, the government is not haitupeleki vizuri. Taxes every day, right? Net pay yako inaenda ikiendanga chini day by day. So always, last time I think in this forum I said 30%. I think we might need to work with 40% if you're looking for a job. A 40% increase. Because the taxes are getting bigger and better, right? Or even worse. So, number 2, as you negotiate for a salary, negotiate on what is your bonus structure. Mwisho wa mwaka, what is my 13th salary? We call it a 13th salary, right? And takusaidia survive the next January. So how does your bonus structure look like? Do you give out? Is the bonus based on performance? Is it based on just staff bonuses? Enye kila mtu anapata figure cut across, right? And that's what most organizations do right now. You just give a standard percentage for the whole organization, right? Number 3, do they give COLA adjustment? COLA is cost of living adjustment based on inflation. But they always ask that question. What is the percentage for this organization? Do you give, I'm not sure. Jeremy, inflation iko how much sai? 7. Most companies give an inflation at 6% or 5% this year, most of them. So always ask that question. It means, even though you don't get a salary raise for the next 1 year, umepata COLA. All right? They call it COLA. Sawa sawa? So I have a good approach in how I want you to negotiate for a salary. So, okay. Recruiter amekukola kakwambia, sorry, you asked for 150 to 200, we are going to give you 150. So tell her this. Thank you for that offer, but I was thinking I can start with the 150, but would you make it 180 when I'm done with my probation? So that maybe they are ish on how you'll perform. Sinivo, for the first 3 months. So just tell them, give me 180 once I finish probation. But don't take a word of mouth. Tell her, please include that as you send my offer. That once I'm done with the 3 months probation, you're going to bump me up to 180. Good? If you feel the value is at 180, yes, Vele? Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. So most companies right now, or the standard way of salaries, it's always gross. No, yeah. But mm-hmm. They'll always tell you it's gross. Trust you me. 150? Gross. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, kama hajasema. Mm-hmm. You can always ask, is that net? Yeah. Yeah, you can always ask. You can always ask. Yeah.
So if they are staying on fine, if they are not, then that leaves you room for negotiation.
Exactly.
See word of mouth. Plus it will show that when it's 18, you just don't take it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Plus something else that I think is that they should always do research on the companies that they are approaching.
That's what you're going to next. Yeah. 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 People fake pay slips, it's true. More benefits? They have a budget, but you have to be really, really top talent for a company to go back to their books and decide, she asked for 800K, we are going to give her that. You must have, what value? They look at the value. Trust me, what's the value addition this person is bringing in? Okay? It's not just that they give you figures the way they want to. Unaweza negotiate, but maybe she's not the right person for this job because, yes, we might pay her 200. What's the value addition? All right? Yeah. I don't know whether I've answered your question, but I think questions will come up as we move on, right? Mm-hmm.
Before we jump to the next thing, just about the salary.
Yeah.
When they ask you your current salary,
Yeah.
can you just outrightly refuse?
Yes. You can just say, just don't say I won't disclose my salary. Just now shift the question the way I said. Shift back the question. Most of them will refuse. But trust you me, a recruiter who has professionalism will never do that. They don't do that most of the time. They just give you, what's your budget for this role? That's what they will ask you. They won't ask you how much you're earning right now. There are those best practices in talent recruitment and stuff. And asking someone what they're on, that's not the best practice in the industry. Trust you me. It is also...
It even reflects that the company is doing
it shows that it's a sign. Yeah. I think we can move on so that I can give time for questions later, right? Yeah. So also, look, is that the first time that company is hiring for that role? So, especially in startups, most companies right now are startups, unapata, they are looking for a junior software engineer and you'll be the only software engineer in that team. Trust you me, you will be bombarded with work. You'll create processes from ground zero. So manze, research. Enda LinkedIn uangalie hii kampuni. See, there's always the people section. So angalia people. Kuna watu wengine wana hold these roles in this company. If not, you need to negotiate more because your scope will be larger. Okay? Sawa sawa. So, always ask the benefits of the company during the interview stages. And benefits are relative, depending on who. Kuna mtu sahi benefit yake the most ni learning and development. That's what you prioritize right now, a company that has a learning and development budget. Because you know you'll grow your skills and you won't go back to your pocket to pay for those, all right? There's someone who will prioritize leave. What siku hizi wanaita PTO. These Americans are just changing things. So it's paid time off. How are their leave policies? How is their annual leave, their maternity, blah, blah, blah. All those leaves that you know. I went to a company and I was so shocked. They have a honeymoon leave. Wow. So they give you 14 days if you are a newlywed. They give you 14 Yeah, that's encouraging. So they also give you 14 days for study leave. So you now connect, they have a learning development budget, good. Also, I'm not wasting my leave days if I have to do exams. They have a study leave, okay? Yeah, so. Can I tell you the company? The company is Food for Education. If you see a role for Food for Education, move. Yes. Yep. Yes, it's a women-led enterprise. Yeah. So, medical insurance. Ask about numbers. Be very specific. Atakwambia, oh, you know, because the recruiters have this voice. Oh, we give medical insurance. Ask, how is the outpatient? How is the inpatient? Unaweza pewa outpatient ya 75K. You have 4 dependents. You have a wife and 4 kids. How is 75K helping you, right? So ask for the specific numbers. Ask also for how many, like, how much am I also topping up as I have more dependents. Sawa sawa. Also, I think pension and stuff like that. How much are they matching it up to? How is the employer contribution as well? The flexibility that comes with the role. I think most of you natafutanga work remote roles or hybrid roles. Ask for that during the interview stages. Negotiate as much as possible. I'll give you an example. I have a software engineer who lives in Limuru, and our office is in Mombasa Road. I've not seen that guy for the whole of January. So it's negotiating, all right? Just negotiate for work-life balance. The work integrations, work-life balance. Sawa sawa. Flex hours. Some people work best from 4 p.m. to midnight. There are those people. Move to a company, and as you look for jobs, and the good thing is that most Kenyan employers wamepata so much competition from outsiders. So as you negotiate, also negotiate for quality, not quantity. What do I mean by that? I don't have to sit from 8 to 5 for me to work. Maybe I'm not a daytime person by the way. I don't do well like that. But maybe I thrive more when I'm allowed to do my job, and how, as long as I'm delivering quality. I can come nishinde 8 to 5 nishinde mzunguko, nikisalimia watu sasa, mko aje? Lunch hour, unaenda unakula, unarudi tu, mnaongea mpira, 5 bags, go home. How are you also benefiting as a person? You're not having value addition as well. Sinivo? Yes. So, also ask, what is my growing curve? What do I mean by growing curve? Ask watu, sijui bona mnaogopa kuuliza watu maswali. Muulize, now that you're hiring for this role, where do you see this role in the next 2 years? What is the growth trajectory of this role? Right? What is the promotion plan for this role? What is the leadership that comes with this role? Will I be leading a team in the next 2 years? All right? So ask. Najua tunaingiaga organization tuna plateau. We are supposed to, our graph is supposed to move like this. Sawa sawa. Not unaingia, unaland, unakaa hivi. Sawa sawa. Good? Now this is the catch, and I think this is Vele's question. Ask about the company's profitability. Guys. Unaona LinkedIn? Kampuni zinakuwa zimesema Series B fundraising, right? Na kuwekea how many dollars hapo. I don't mean to say this in a bad way, but don't be victims of redundancies. Don't be victims of companies closing down. Startups mingi are depending on investors. Be very cognizant what company you are moving to. Companies zingine hazija break even in terms of profits. They're just depending on people. Investor ki pull down, what happens today? So to reduce wage bill. What will we do? To reduce workforce. To freeze hiring. Tuseme tutadina ile headcount tuko nayo, all right? So I want you guys to ask these questions. Is the company making profits? And if not, when will they break even? Or when are they anticipating to break even? Guys, I think mnaonanga tu organization kubwa imepost job. You run for that job. And year or two, we are really sorry, but we can't continue. And employers are very smart these days. They are not giving permanent contracts. Fixed term. 2, Wanakwambianga we start with 1 year, observe, then we renew. Yes, for another 2 years. Trust you me, they are gambling. In case worst case scenario, tutatoa watu wako na fixed term, tubakishe watu wengine. I'm so sorry, but that is happening. Good? Sawa sawa. So ask about profits. There's a time I had an interviewee. Aliuliza, is this company making profits? And you are like, no, we still depend on blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm so sorry, but I can't risk moving from a permanent contract and come here, and I'm already working for a government organization. Okay? I hope I've answered your question in the process, Vele. We're going to answer it. We are going to answer it. Sawa sawa? So, we are still working, sibado tuko in these jobs, and we are doing our best. So, how do you become a good performer? Because, see, we are adding value to ourselves each and every day. We are not just there to end a job, end a home, day done. What value addition are you doing for yourself? So, how do you become an asset of an organization? Without even you doing a lot of quantity work, but quality work. Good? So let me tell you something. Every organization, I'm so sorry. I'm really telling you a lot of information, and I think I start charging, right? So every organization has a flight risk list. What do I mean by a flight risk list? A flight risk is an employee mwenye, if you don't meet their demands, not even demands, their fulfillment, they will leave. Yet, okay, kuna wenye unaweza kosa kumit fulfillment zao, but wataenda. But there are those you have to meet because if they go, the business breaks. And replacing them, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of, you can't even get the quality of work they used to do huko nje. You might also have to hire from abroad to replace their talent. Sawa sawa. So every company, maybe company kona headcount ya 200, unapata kona flight risks 30 peke yake. And these are the only people who, salary increments zikifanywa, they have to be on the list. Strategy meetings zikiendo sijui na huku wapi, good places, they have to go. They might not be team leaders, but they are just, their value or they are really critical to the business. Sawa sawa. So the business cannot afford to lose them. So mnakuanga tu pale, Conso, kila time ako kwa list ya salary increments. Kila time wameenda Mombasa strategy. Kila time opinion zake, they are really taken into consideration. Every time kuna brainstorm session, Consolata must be there. Why? Hakuna mtu sasa nyinyi mko tu ku politics. Oh, anapendwa? No. That's not the case. Trust you me, they have identified something in that person, and they will do anything to keep her. All right? So I want you guys to be, I know sometimes it's really frustrating. You paid less, and you're like, do I really have to push myself that much to stay relevant, okay? But you really don't have to do that. Do what is good for you. Sometimes don't look at the salary. Sometimes look at what is your growing curve as well. Focus on that. In that, ata ukienda in another organization, you're best placed to pick up the roles that they require you to pick up. Sawa sawa? So I want you to go sit down and identify, are you a flight risk in where you work? Business ikikulose leo, does anyone care? Or she can go. Iyo ni ile huo mtu who threaten ku resign, CEO anampeleka dinner. I've seen those situations, guys, and they are real. I'm talking out of experience here. Akitaka ku resign hadi board inakaa inasema, I know we never had a budget, but kindly bump this person, even double their salary. Those employees are there. Si tuko nyuma ya payroll, laki tunaona figures. They are true. They are true. Haya. Good? So, How do you then become a good performer? How do you become a flight risk employee who the business want to retain? Through continuous development and learning. So how do you set yourself up for success, right? So that's why I was very, very keen on saying learning and development might be a first benefit you might consider as you move jobs. Because you're adding skills, manze skills become redundant. Roles are evolving. HR wa paperwork, si HR sahi, wana analyze data, wanatengeneza dashboards that will be used for decision making. All right? So you need to be very, very cognizant of the trends that are there in the market as well. All right? So angalia title yako sahi. What is your title in other companies? You can just go and research. By the way, hire. Rome wanaitanga aje HR wao. All right? PwC wanaitanga aje HR wao. Oh, they call them people operations. Why? So it means wewe kama bado unaitanga HR uko hauko on the current trends, uko nyuma. You're not modern, you're still sawa sawa. So sometimes even go to your boss and tell them, by the way, I'm looking at the industry and the title that I have right now, it is not marketing me out there. We need to review. We need to review my scope. Be confident. Be confident with your line managers. Sawa sawa. So I love I know it's not a very nice body, but anyway, the Institute of Human Resources is very strict. They can't give you a certificate of good standing if you don't have 10 CPD points. 10 CPD points are continuous development and stuff like that. So for you to get a cert for that year, lazima ukome attend training sessions 10 plus, even not 10, maybe 5, because each is 2 or 1 CPD point. But unapata, one training is 75,000. No, the institute has put those trainings. So that's what I was saying, negotiate for learning and development budget within the team as well, as you go. Because utalipia aje 75,000. And nafaa kuwa na 10 CPD points ili nipate certificate of good standing. Otherwise, HRM nikiwa na kesi wataniruka. Waseme I'm not even compliant. I think that's the case with IcePack as well and stuff like that. Sawa sawa. And let's go back to, when I mean continuous learning, continuous development is, don't be afraid to take performance conversations. Aki, most of you, I know mnasikianga kuna performance reviews, mna tense. You are so afraid, oh, I don't want to go. Sa hiyo wiki yote unaenda sick leave. Unfortunately, you're not growing. Because performance assessments will help you to identify gaps that you need to improve on. So be courageous enough to go to those performance assessments. And that's why I go back to my point. Also review yourself as a human being, as an employee, like, what is my growing curve? So hata ukienda uko na point, unaambia manager wako, by the way, me 1, 2, 3 is not working for me, and I would prefer 1, 2, 3. Okay? So that's how performance conversations happen. A good company will have 2 annually. And a good manager, sijui kama kuna team leads hapa, ama line managers, they'll have weekly check-ins with their employees, weekly, to know how they're doing. And to know, are they blocking them? How did they set them up for success? Sawa sawa. I hope as I say these things, unajiview kwa organization yenu, unaona, by the way, they don't do all these things for me. I need to review where I work. Good? Yeah. So, now, we are employees, we are doing our best, we are best performance, tunalipo performance bonuses, but who are we outside work? If you stood today, would you just identify myself, I'm an accountant, I'm an engineer? You don't say, I'm a wife, I'm a husband, I'm an official, I'm a mother, I'm a consultant, I do businesses as well. These are my side hustles. But then I'm so disappointed with those people who go to interviews and say, niko na side hustle. I never asked you, right? So whatever you do, employer wako unafaa compare 8 to 5, right? Whatever you do between 5 to 7 or 5 to when you sleep, it's none of their business. They actually don't need to know. Employer wangu wajui niko hapa, right? And actually, that is none of their business. So I want you guys to Who else do you identify with except work? And that's where the work-life integration comes in. We are so, sinking in our jobs, we forget who we are as people. What other things we can do except going 8 to 5, home, sleep? Sawa sawa. So that's what I would really love you guys to do. And how can we do that? Have goals. And if any of you attended the Waridi Dada Masterclass, I feel like, okay, sorry for men, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, guys, gents, I'm sorry. So we have a whole scope. You can have career goals in relationships, spirituality, the environment, and blah, blah, blah. So you're not only confined to a career. You're someone outside that, all right? So in the process of that, prioritize rest, prioritize leave. Unfortunately, I don't know, am an ignorance, what is going on. Guys, the executive, legislative bodies, they were so sober, wakikaa chini wakisema mtu ende 21 days of leave for rest, annually. They were not crazy when they said, let's do 7 days sick leave and 7 days on half pay. Those things are there because you're not a robot. You are a human being. And their culture or their companies that really prefer you to take, see, there are 21 days in a whole year, take 5 days per quarter. Go and reset, go and rethink, go and do what you do outside work. All right? So those are the things I'm talking about. Prioritize on rest as a person, take leave. If the business is breaking, jumenda leave, kuna shida. There's a big problem. Atunapigwa tu simu, oh, console, oh, this, oh, this. No, ukienda leave, no one should call you because the system or the company has that enough redundancy whereby someone else can take up your job when you're not around. Stanley, sorry? Yeah. Sorry? Yeah. The flight risk. Sorry, Stanley, I can't hear your question.
So I'm asking,
yeah.
When they go for leave,
the flight risk employee?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you saying that is the time that the business starts going down?
No. So the company has set up this, we call it a redundancy, in a way that your skills can be taken up by someone else, all right? Or they have planned their schedules well enough, they have peak and off-peak seasons. So during off-peak, that's when most of the people take leave, by the way, all right? Yes. So next, let's move to something, yeah. Oh my God, it's 7:51. Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. In Kenya. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So basically, that convention caters for WhatsApp conversations. So assuming your boss has texted you after work,
Yeah.
and you're not supposed
Two, yeah.
that convention caters for that. So if we adopt that into our country,
Mm-hmm.
that will be governed.
Yeah.
But it also caters for commute from work to your home or home to your place of work. So basically, in as much as work is 8 to 5,
Yeah.
we're in the process of adopting employee care outside of work.
Yeah. Good. Thank you, Carol. So let me move pretty fast because I only have 10 minutes. Sawa sawa, and then I take your question. So I'll move to the next thing. And the next thing is always have an exit plan. Let me tell you something. The core function of a HR department is succession planning. What do I mean by succession planning? They're always grooming someone to take up your tasks in case you leave. So how do you expect, what wana plan venye, they can get someone to replace you or to take up stuff that you do in case you leave, na we huna exit plan. Guys, have an exit plan. Things happen, companies close. By the he-see relationship, this is a business. It's money. So easy loyalty games mkonazo. By the guys, it's time we leave them. All right? Sawa sawa. And also don't think you are indispensable because you are your line manager's favorite or your CEO, mnakunywanga beers na yeye. That does not happen. Sawa sawa. So how also do we exit in a smart way? Don't burn bridges. Guys, as you leave in a polite way. Peana notice as you need to kupeana. Achani kutoka, oh, naenda kesho. So, and you have a contract that says maybe 30 days or 30 days in lieu. Ulipe kampuni or you give notice. Sinivo, exit in a smart way. Then, let me just, let me just give one example of a guy that I know. So I had this guy at work and he decided to get a new role. And 1 month later, he was back to our organization. He resigned. Tukafanya the exit interview, tukamalizana. Kidogo kidogo, hi Consolata, the grass is not greener as I expected. Can I come back? And he came back. So if he had burned bridges, what would have happened? Sawa sawa. So also be cognizant of those things. Okay, so don't take counter offers, guys. This, I think, is the most important thing that I have to state today. Unatoka, unaitwa na mkubwa yako, okay, fine. You're on 100K, I'll bump you up to 150. Ama hiyo kampuni inakupea nini tuso, tutakupea hiyo tuso. So all of a sudden, they now know your value. They never saw it, so it means they've been using you, right? They're not paying you as per the standard that they wanted to pay you. Stop taking counter offers, and you might find yourself, job yenye umepata, utalipwa maybe 200,000. After probation, you move to 250. After another performance review, you move to 300. So what does that mean? Umejilimit, cause kampuni silikumata up to 250. Trust me, you'll never be in another list ya salary increment, utastagnate hapo. So don't take counter offers. As much as possible, don't take them. It's time to leave. I'm sorry, let me just go. I've gotten a better offer that is meeting my needs right now. Sawa sawa. So, and then nothing changes, except your salary. Has the culture changed? See, the company is still the same. So if it was toxic, it's still toxic, right? Yes. So my conclusion would be, if you're an employer here, if you're a team lead here, guys, give these people positive experiences at work. So don't be toxic managers to these people. And I think that's my plea to anyone who is a team lead, who is a manager, or you're an employer as well, because I think we have employers here as well. So create good experiences for those people so that they're able to meet their other obligations as parents, as spouses, as leaders in charge. You know, they have a life outside. Make things comfortable for them. Yep, and I think I had a lot to say, but unfortunately time is not on my side. I've had to cut short a lot of things.